Hello everyone, today we're going to be checking out the Vox AD60 Valvetronix, the infamous blue Valvetronix that everybody seems to say is so much better than the newer Valvetronix amps. And I used to own a VT40 Plus and I have to agree, this older Gen 1 model is actually really good. I love this amp and I want you guys to have a listen for yourself. I got it cheap for $200 used. This is early 2000s modeling technology we're talking about. That Boss Katana is like modern technology, and I think this amp is even better than that one. It's a huge amp. Let's take a listen to it right now. Alright, so this is going to be kind of the best angle I can get, y'all. At least you can see everything that's going on here. Like I said, there's so much going on with this amp. There's so many pedals, there's so many amp types, modulation, delay, reverb. You got a tuner over here. You got your banks to save presets, but we're just going to stick to the manual mode. And of course you got your familiar master, presence, bass, treble, middle, volume, and gain knobs. And you got an attenuator in the back as well, as I showed y'all. So I think what I'm going to do today is I'm not going to go through every single one of these. I'm just going to show y'all some of the ones that I found to sound really good. And frankly, if I could be honest, all of them sound very good, very good. And I haven't really messed with the high gain stuff. I'm not really much of a high gain guitar player, but I can only assume for those of you who are, these have to sound good as well. I'm not really going to touch these. I'm just going to show you some of what we got going on here, especially the top boost AC amps. The Tweeds and the black face sound really good. These boutique, I think they're Dumbles or Mesas, I'm not sure. But these sound very good as well. It really just is, this whole first half is where I live at. So I'll just quickly show y'all some of those. I'll play with some of the modulation, the delays, the reverbs, the pedals. This amp has so many capabilities, and for it being something that's from the early 2000s, it's kind of unbelievable to believe that Vox sort of nailed it they nailed it back then, and I don't really know why they kind of made the rest of the Valvetronix series not as good. But enough of that. I'm just going to show y'all how this thing turns on, which I think is really cool. It's like you're turning on a whole machine. Look at this. So cool. And it might seem like that may be blinking to y'all. I hope it doesn't, but that's just the frame rate of my camera, but it's not blinking from what I'm looking at. Of course, the tap tempo is, but we're just gonna go ahead and start off with the black 2x12. I'll jump to the Tweed and then the AC15 and 30, and I'll mess with some of these pedals as I go. I'll probably mess with this. The compressor I think sounds fantastic. The acoustic is not really. Nobody really likes acoustic simulators, but I guess it's there. Interesting thing about the Vox Wah and the Auto Wahs, particularly the Vox Wah, not the Auto Wah. The Vox Wah, you can control how it opens and closes with the drive, and if you had bought the external foot switch that is advertised with this amp, you would have been able to control the wah with that foot pedal. So that's kind of interesting, but the rest of these sound very good in my opinion, even the overdrives. So yeah, let me just get this started. I'm not going to spend too much time trying not to talk, so let's just get it going. I'm playing a Strat, and let's just do it. Now, of course, hopping into the Tweed channel, these knobs are going to interact a little differently. You'll probably notice as I'm fiddling with this. Hey everyone, thanks for hanging out with me today. That was the Vox AD60 Valvetronix. I want to let you guys know my final thoughts before I end this video. So this amp to me is pretty unbelievable, considering that it came out in the year 2000 all the way to 2003. There's another VTX model, which is supposed to be like a actual plywood cabinet with a nice speaker, but I think this one sounds fantastic for what it is. And they were a little expensive back in the day, but now you can get them for $200. There's a head and there's a big 120 version, but I think the 60 is the perfect size for any studio and for any gigging guitarist for that matter. I think the sounds are fantastic. You can get some very good tones, all of them very usable. All the effects, in my opinion, are very usable. Whether they're accurate to whatever it is that they're trying to emulate is beyond me, but I think that the sounds are really good. It's not hard to dial in a good sound with this amp with any guitar. I used a Strat today, but any guitar sounds good to this amp in my opinion. And finally, I just want to say that this is the Gen 1 Valvetronix, and for those of you that don't know, the Vox Valvetronix went through like Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, you know, stuff like that, the way that cell phones do these days. This is supposed to be the first Valvetronix ever, and then it went to the AD, and then the VT with the Chrome, and then the VT Plus, which is actually the amp I first had when I started playing electric guitar. It was the VT40 Plus, and that was my recollection of playing a Valvetronix amp. And in those days, I saw it as just a purely practice amp, and I didn't think the sounds were any particularly good, but this is very good. This is very, very good. I'm surprised because I actually own a Boss Katana, and that is something that came out this year, 2024. And the sounds are not as good as the Vox, in my opinion. The Vox just blows it out of the water. And to me, that's a little crazy because that's 24 years of modeling technology, and somehow Vox got it right. And they sort of abandoned it or something. I don't know. It just seems like the Valvetronix just is not what it used to be. I see a lot of posts when I did my research about the Valvetronix, the blue one being the better one out of all of them, and I have to agree. It doesn't have any hissing that the old one, my old one used to have, the VT40 Plus. It doesn't have any weird sounds or any bad sounds for that matter, and that's incredible to me. I think Vox, if you're watching this, look back at this amp, take some notes, or I don't know. I'm sure y'all do, but this was 24 years ago and it sounded fantastic. What do I know? But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.